Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel.
Hey guys, welcome back to mine. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're giving my girl Lexana, aka Hair by Lexie, a makeover. We're going a lot lighter, a lot longer. Two of my favorite things. You're gonna see everything that comes to the foil placement and technique over on my channel, and then on Jesse's channel, it's gonna be all things toning. So, if you're ready to get this process started, stay tuned. And follow Lexie, I didn't say that. Follow her.
Follow me.
Okay guys, so here's our before. This is what we're working with. Lexie just went dark not too long ago, but luckily for us, her hair history is that she was blonde and then she went darker with only using shades EQ. So it's not gonna be that hard to lift out as if it was a permanent color or even a demi-permanent. Shades EQ is ammonia free and it is an acidic color, so that means it's not really going to be penetrating too deep into the hair. It is a gloss, so it is just going to basically be coating her hair, so it shouldn't be that hard to lift through. So what we've started to do to tackle through some of this darker hair color is that Jessie is going up the back of her head in a brick-laid pattern, doing 2 foils to the left, 2 to the right, and then 2 down the middle. You can see that our weave is going to be a little bit bigger of a pickup, so we can really get some nice pops of blonde through there. We are going from a brunette canvas to something that's a little bit more dimensional and more of a bronze, so it's going to be nice lighter pops, but also mixing well with the darker pops that she's going to have from her dropouts. I feel like working up in a brick-laid motion whenever you're working up the back of the head, whenever you're doing a total transformation, is going to be the easiest way, and in result of working up that brick-laid pattern, you're going to be getting the most lived in and almost natural look. It's not going to be too uniformed as if you did some like crazy fancy sectioning. I just feel like it all blends together a little bit more nicely and lays a little bit more natural. The result that we are going for is going to be a little bit darker to the back, and it's going to be transitioning towards her face, getting lighter. So you're going to see Jessie feathering up a lot like so, not taking the highlights all the way to the scalp, just so we can have that nice teardrop effect of where it's going to be a nice point of brightness towards the front, and towards the back of her head it's going to be getting a little bit deeper and more dimensional. After we have completed that foil work, we're going straight in and doing some teasy slices, so doing a few teases up and back combing the hair and taking that nice slice that we have teased out and just going to be saturating and feathering up, so we have a really nice gradient blend. So we're going to be having a blending agent of the tease and then also the feather up motion before we're folding up this foil. Whenever you tease out the ends or pop out the ends, this is going to have an end result of her base being nice and rooty, transitioning into the mids of her hair, which is going to be highlighted and dimensional, and then there's going to be nice pops of brightness towards her ends. And we are moving on to the hairline. I'm taking a diagonal back and I have combed out all the little baby hairs that are right on her hairline, and I've done a pretty big, more like of a ribbon highlight or a textural highlight. They're still nice and tight together, but there are some gaps between there, just so she has a nice blend. Doing it on a diagonal back this way is to ensure whenever she pulls her hair up, it's not going to be just brightness where we put that money piece off of her part. It's going to be brightness over here on the sides all the way across her hairline. I am going in with a smaller foil here for these smaller hairs, honestly, because it's just going to help me. The tools that you use in the salon honestly really do matter. I feel like the foils that we were using in the back are going to be a little bit too heavy for her hair, especially these shorter hairs around her hairline. So we're going to be using a smaller foil, doing a diagonal back directly behind that first foil with minimum dropout, just so we do ensure that we do have a nice pop of brightness. And I know that we're not going to have any slippage because our foil is the accurate size that we need for this amount of hair. And I'm just saying that you guys know that we are always up to something at Jay-Z, so you might be seeing these small foils in the near future. So we have done those 2 diagonal backs, and what I'm going to be doing is working on a pivoting motion to where towards her face it's going to be a little bit tighter with the foils, but towards the interior of her hair is going to be a little bit more spaced out. It's almost like a pie section if you think about it. The point of the pie being towards her hairline, and then the thicker part, like the crust or whatever you call that part, the like larger side of the pie, piece of pie, is going to be towards the interior. That way, everywhere these foils kiss in the front that are touching is going to create a nice pop of brightness, and then towards her interior is going to be a little bit more broken up, matching the foils leading into the back of her head. I'm gonna try to put like a diagram or something so you guys can actually understand what I'm trying to say, but basically by doing this pivoting foil placement, we're going from a diagonal back, and as we're transitioning our foils and working up her head, they're going to be working to be more of a horizontal placement. whenever it comes to processes like this or huge transformations where you're really trying to get a lot of lift out of one session, is literally the most simple thing you can do that's going to make the biggest difference. You're going to see me doing it throughout this entire video, is go heavy on the saturation. The reason you want to saturate is so everything obviously has an even lift, like we all know, like we all learned in beauty school. But for processes that you're going to need an extravagant amount of lift, saturate the crap of the hair. You'll see me go through and add on more product as I'm working my way up the head, literally everywhere. Pay attention to how I'm saturating, because after I've fully saturated, making sure that every strand is coated, I go and put on an extra layer of lightener. That way this lightener never dries out. We can let it sit on as long as we need to get the lift that we are going to be wanting. And the only thing that we have to check for is the integrity of the hair. So as long as the hair isn't stretchy, as long as there's not too much elasticity, we can keep lifting until we get to that desired result. So as you can see, we are working on her hairline now. I've ranted a little bit too much about saturation, but it is important. So as far as her hairline goes, her hairline kind of divots back. She doesn't have much of a widow's peak, but everyone's hair kind of divots back in that point of recession. So we're going through and to connect that hairline to make sure that everything is bright. We're matching up what we did on those first few foils, on those first few diagonal backs. We're doing back to back with minimum dropout highlights so that we can get obviously maximum brightness. Everything's going to be cohesive, and then we're going to be off of our part, working straight back to achieve that nice pop of a money piece. And on the second foil, as we're getting into the interior of her hair, you can see now that it's against the foil, it's a little bit stronger towards her face, which is bringing that brightness towards her face like we've been talking about this whole video. It's going to be achieving that same result by also tackling a little bit of the interior of her hair. What you'll usually see me doing in most of my videos is utilizing a lower strength developer on the hairline and the money piece, but since this is such a transformation, I'm still going in with 20 volume. We've went in with 20 volume everywhere, and as the foils are processed, we will be pulling those, so we don't have to worry about over processing the hair. Like I said before, we're checking the elasticity of her hair. We're keeping everything super nice and safe because we have a bond builder in our lightener. We're checking our foils and we're pulling them as they are ready. And my girl Lexana, aka Hair by Lexie, wanted a nice pop of brightness towards the front. So what we're doing for her money piece is straight off of that hairline, which is going to be connecting to those foils to the left and to the right that we did. We're taking a straight slice, and as you can see, my sectioning for this is going to be a triangle section. That way it's going to be giving us the same results that we have been trying to achieve with all the other foil work. It's going to be a wider pop of brightness off of her hairline, and as it transitions into the interior of our hair, it's going to be less and less and less as we're working towards the top of that triangle section. It's almost like the point of the triangle. Those pops of brightness are getting married into the dimension that we're adding, and our money piece is going stronger off of our hairline and then almost shimmering away into the rest of her hair. After that slice, I am going to be foiling highlights, and I'm going to be doing minimal dropout, but I still want a little bit of dropout after that slice just for diffusion purposes. If I was to go through and just do slice after slice after slice, it's going to look a little bit harsher. It's going to not grow out as good, that I have seen in my experience. So working off of a slice to give us that nice pop, and then transitioning into tightly packed highlights is going to be giving us that diffusion as we are working into the point of that triangle section. And you can kind of relate this into that pie sectioning that I was doing on the sides of her head, working up, going back to that chart. It's going to be brighter where it's wider, and it's going to be shimmering down to the point of that triangle section or that piece of pie into being less and less and less. So now all that is left is going to be that top mohawk area. And what I'm going to be doing for this is I am tackling it and being consistent. The way that we pivoted on the sides, we're going to be pivoting to the left and to the right, just so there's equal brightness on both sides of her part. And we're going to be working from a slight diagonal, transitioning into more of a horizontal foil placement. I think that it's really important, you guys, anytime you're doing any foil work, to know exactly what each foil is going to be doing as you are placing it into the hair, how you're placing it into the hair, and you need to always be consistent. Being consistent means that everything's going to be nice and even. It's going to be a beautiful blend, and it means that everything's going to come out very, very cohesive. As you're doing your foil work, if you can vision how the hair is going to lay by what you're picking up and what angle you're placing your foil on, it is going to make it where you are an amazing colorist. If you can learn those techniques, you are going to be an unbeatable hairstylist. Now I'm going through doing heavy saturation, everything that we have been doing before, and what you might realize is that I have a glove on my right hand. This is actually a trick that Lexie is known for over on her TikTok, and this is to prevent that the hand that you are painting with, that you're grabbing your paintbrush with, is going to ensure that you're not going to be getting any bleach burns on it. I honestly thought I would hate foiling with a glove, but I feel like the glove had like a little bit of grippiness to it, so it really did help me hold on to all of my tools a little bit better. And I actually do like this trick, so you might see me utilizing it a little bit more, but if you do see it in future videos, just know that Lexie is due to all credit for this one. And with that being said, if you're not already following Lexie over on TikTok, I'll be putting her handle here. You guys, make sure that you guys are following her over there. She posts amazing lifestyle content and a lot and lots and lots of hair education. Look, I got it on this hand. And release this hand.
No.
Will you grab me one?
I'm good.
Move that over. And Lexie's trick worked wonders on my dominant hand, but somehow I ended up getting it on my left hand. Honestly, that would only happen to me whenever I'm trying to avoid that. But we are getting straight back to business and continuing foiling, and as you can see, I've been working my way up, and as our section of hair that needs to be foiled is getting smaller, my foils are getting a lot more straighter on a horizontal placement. The reason that this technique, the pivoting sections, is going to be one of my favorites whenever you're looking for a more lived in or dimensional look is because it's so easy to overfoil the hair whenever you are trying to take someone lighter and keep dimension. This is going to be the perfect way, you guys, my go-to technique to leave dimension but also create nice bright pops by having that bigger pickup, more spaced out, because we want those brighter pops that we're weaving in to reflect against the darker hair that's being dropped out to create contrast so they actually show up and not get lost in the hair. After those foils are in, we're going to be continuing on being consistent. We're going to be teasing out those ends, back combing it up so we have a nice blend and we have some dimension whenever the hair is brushed back out, taking that slice at the top and fully saturating that with a feather motion at the top so we have a gradient blend of the hair that's teased up that will be coming back down, and then also that feather motion at the top. After she has processed, we have pulled her foils, and guys, that is going to be it as far as my technique goes and as far as my video goes. I utilize this technique weekly in the salon, and honestly, I love it. I hope you took away something that you can use on your clients in your chair. If you want to see the finished result and how we wrap this thing up, head over to Jessie's video, which is going to be part 2, all about toning and finishing up this look, and she is going to be giving you the full breakdown over there. And of course, it will be linked in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. Thank you so much for watching this video. You guys, I'll see you next week with some more hair content.